Hi friends, this is Pastor Emily Kuenker, and I bring you greetings from your siblings in Christ at Prince of Peace in Logan, Utah. Today we get to talk about hope, which happens to be one of my favorite theological ideas to talk about. I hear a lot of people talk about hope like it's kind of this last resort thing. Like once we've tried everything else and exhausted all other options, that's when we'll reach for this particular tool. You can sort of hear that when someone says something like, all we can do now is hope. And that makes it sound like hope is something feeble or merely an illusion that we hold on to in a moment of desperation to keep ourselves from having to face the worst. But I really have to disagree with that notion. I don't think hope is weak at all. I think hope is a very powerful tool and one that has done a lot to ensure the survival and the thriving of God's people throughout the centuries. One of my favorite writers, Rebecca Solnit, has this to say about hope. She says, "Hope is not a lottery ticket you can sit on the sofa and clutch, feeling lucky. It is an axe that you break down doors with in an emergency. Hope should shove you out the door because it will take everything you have to steer the future away from endless war, from the annihilation of the earth's treasures and the grinding down of the poor and marginal. To hope is to give yourself to the future. And that commitment to the future is what makes the present inhabitable." Hope is itself an act of resistance. And though it may be quite thin, it is also a very strong filament that keeps us connected to God in moments when we feel like the battle's lost. In this season, when the days are growing darker and the light can be hard to find, when the world feels chaotic and frightening, when we find ourselves surrounded by death and destruction and despair, hope is a muscle that we can and must exercise because it matters that we continue to believe that there is good in the world, that we continue to believe that things might actually turn out this time, that we continue to believe that God is both present and acting in the realities in which we find ourselves, already and always bringing light out of darkness and peace out of chaos and hope out of fear and sorrow. Indeed, I think it's that very faith that will shape the future that we get to live into. In the end, hope makes all the difference. And here's the best news. That hope is well-founded. The writer of Hebrews conveys this. "Let us approach God with a true heart," they write, "in full assurance of faith, with our hearts sprinkled clean from an evil conscience and our bodies washed with pure water. Let us hold fast to the confession of our hope without wavering, for he who has promised is faithful. And let us consider how to provoke one another to love and good deeds, not neglecting to meet together, but encouraging one another, and all the more as you see the day approaching." I wish you many blessings in this season of waiting, and I pray, my friends, that hope will be your constant companion in these days. Blessed Advent to you all.